It's time now for County-Wide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Brad Miller as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives here in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's County-Wide.
Welcome to County-Wide. I'm Paul David. Great to have you in studio today. Steve Troutman with the Cottonwood Fire Department. He is their it's a fire inspector, and then Cottonwood Fire Marshal Rick Contreras back in studio. You guys were here just a few months ago.
Yeah, great to see you again.
It's really blown by, hasn't it?
Yeah. It does. It goes fast.
We were talking Christmas lights and fire extinguishers and smoke detectors and stuff in, I think, November, December, and now here we are already creeping up on May. It's amazing. I thought it would be interesting to have you guys come in, and as the folks can see, and those that are listening on the radio, we'll do our best to describe this, but you're going to want to go to our website at myradioplace.com and click on that Verde Valley TV so you can watch today's show. But the guys brought in a whole bunch of gear, and it's not even all the gear that you normally would have on a fire truck. I mean, there's things you talked about that you would like to have brought in, but you can't today.
Right.
And it's just so much gear here. And I thought it'd be interesting to go through the gear and kind of see what it is that protects you guys when you respond to our homes for a fire or car accident or, you know, things like that. We never really do that, so I thought it'd be kind of cool. Should we start at the top? Actually, you know what I wanted to start out with? Rick, I wanted to ask you, and we'll ask Steve too, why did you guys decide, what spurred you to become a firefighter?
I had family members in the fire service, but originally in the 3rd grade, I wanted to work for the Forest Service. You know, I always thought that would be an interesting job, and kind of thought that all the way through high school, and moved to Arizona in the early 80s. I got on with Verde Rural Fire Department as a reserve, and it was a great experience. Unfortunately, it wasn't full-time. I did that for 2.5 years, and then went on to some other adventures professionally, and then came full circle around the fire department. Very fortunate to be with the Cottonwood Fire Department. I absolutely love my job.
Yeah, I remember when you came on board at Cottonwood Fire too. Steve, how about you? What made you decide to be a firefighter?
Pretty much from my military days. Once I had gotten out of the military, it was sounded like a pretty good help people just in a more of a local level rather than, you know, in the military it's more, you know, you can go overseas and serve your country. This was serving my community. So I felt, you know, it was really a good transition for me, and I always enjoy helping out people. So.
Awesome, awesome. Simple as that. Really simple as that. Let's get into some of the gear. Let's start with what protects the head. You said that, you know, your helmet, and before we get into too much of that, I noticed the hats all have the number 41 on the front.
Yeah, it's our Station 41.
Okay, Station 41.
Station 41.
Okay. So how is the helmet made, and how does it help?
They're pick it up. We got a lot of variable, you know, devices inside. You know, the flashlight, but it has the adjustable strap for the helmet to fit on your head securely. If we wore it right now, it'd probably fit good. But when you put your hood, you have to adjust it. It has a shield on it to protect your face and eyes. Some of it, they have like a Kevlar material in them. They're very strong. You can see some of the scratches on them, and protect your head from collapse and things that.
Would you say it's the equivalent to a construction person's hard hat? Or
better.
Even better.
A lot better, yes.
Okay. I imagine the equipment that you guys wear is probably top of the line stuff.
Very good, very expensive.
Yeah.
We have to treat it very good. We have to take care of our gear, you know. Absolutely.
It's got to be hard to take care of gear like this, though. I mean, it's not like you're just doing construction either. I mean, you are walking into a burning building.
Yeah, hazardous situations.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, it's not just a burning building. It could be a lot of different things. You know, we had a truck into a building last week. You know, typically those kind of things, you got to make sure that when the structural integrity of a building is bad, you got to make sure you have your proper PPE at all times.
Now, when you respond to something, do you always have to put this on? Every time?
Not every time, not every call, but I mean when it's needed, yeah, absolutely.
When you do your scene size up, every scene we go to, whether it's a car accident, even an EMS emergency call, you kind of size up what you're going into. So if it warrants protection, then you would wear your helmet if you think there's a risk for anything.
I don't think I've ever seen a picture of you guys standing around without one of these on, which I guess is probably a great idea because you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
That's what your job is.
Mandated, you know, by NFPA and OSHA, and there's a lot of standards out there, safety standards, and we have to adhere to them.
Now, you bought the jacket and the pants as well, and I noticed you guys put those on. How much do those weigh?
A lot.
A lot, right? Okay. And are they really thick and they're made to protect you from the fire, I would imagine.
From a certain amount of heat. They're not fire resistant. You can still get burned through them. You got to be careful.
Okay.
But they pretty much will protect you from a lot of heat. And I would say with all the gear, 65 pounds.
Yeah, typically, you know, you get your tank and all the equipment, and then, you know, there's a thermal barrier lining inside that kind of protects you. You know, it's very specifically made, and we can't just wash it in a normal washing machine with regular soap. You know, we use an industrial size washing machine.
What's it made out of? Do you guys know what it's made out of?
No, I'm not exactly sure what all
50% cotton, 50%.
Yeah, right.
I'm just kidding. And then the boots. You guys are always in those boots too, those great big boots.
Structural boots, yes.
Yeah. Are there anything special about those? Steel-toed, I imagine?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. And you know, when those debris inside of a fire, you know, nails and sharp edges and everything, we gotta keep everything as safe as possible.
So you guys look at this stuff and I guess you're not too impressed with it because you've been wearing it for so many years and it's just part of your job. You just put it on. But I see the pictures of the kids, and I see the kids come to the fire station, and they are just like, wow, I get to put this stuff on.
Oh, absolutely. Yesterday, Steve had a station tour with a lot of young kids. We were at the school before that, but they were checking out Steve's real helmet. We gave them the kids' fake helmets.
Sure,
you know, they love those.
I had one of those.
Yeah, sure, we all do. And but it's part of the gear. They are very interested in it, and so are the parents, and we always welcome those kind of tours at our station so we could educate the public on life safety and show them, you know, what our gear's about, and we work for the community, so we want to share that with them.
Very awesome. Okay, so now we got your hat on, your jacket, your pants, your boots. We got a great big air tank. Now, this air tank, you said that the suit and the hat and the boots is 65 pounds.
Somewhere around that, maybe a little less, but that's with everything. That's
far more weight than I put on when it comes to winter clothes, though. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, that's a lot of protection that's going on you right now. Now you got to slap the tank on your back. How much does this tank weigh, and then how long does something like that last you?
It depends. Typically, there's it could be anywhere from 15 minutes to 25, 30 minutes, depending on how you're breathing. If you're on a structure fire, especially if you are working with tools and your ventilation rate goes up, you can use that tank fairly quick. If you watch your breathing and control your breathing, you can make that last pretty long.
How often do you have to swap the tank out, though, in terms of, okay, this tank is expired, it's no longer good, we need a new one, and how much do they cost?
We're just going through that right now. We're going to upgrade our systems. They're not cheap. I don't know the exact cost of them, but it's getting to where they're going to have, NFPA is putting out new standards to make them safer, to make them better, and we're in the process of getting new tanks, and it's not going to be cheap, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It's, like Steve said, you know, it just depends how you breathe on these things and how long you last. We try to take very good care of that. We have one of our engineers, Dwayne Hoke, who does a great job of keeping us safe when it comes to the air packs and the mask. You know, he's very instrumental in our department.
So somebody's in charge of going through that equipment and making sure
yes, he's had extra training over and above what we normally have to make sure that all of us are safe and those things are working like they're supposed to, because those hazardous environments are superheated gas, and you don't want to take one breath of that hot gas smoke in those bad situations. You know, we want our gear to work. That is vital for us.
Yeah, that clean air.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Let's take a break, okay?
Yes, sir.
Cottonwood Fire Marshal Rick Contreras in studio today. Cottonwood Fire Inspector Steve Troutman as well. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Welcome back to Countywide. Good to have you along. Let's jump right back into it. Our time is always short when we do these shows. More gear. You've got a mask here as well.
Yep.
What's this for?
Hey, it's keep us breathing. You know, we have our tank and we connect it to that tank, and it's not, most people think it's oxygen. It's just the air we're breathing now, 21% oxygen, and it keeps my face safe from fire and keeps me breathing in those bad situations.
All right. You bought a lot of tools as well, a lot of different kinds of tools. You've got a pair of the biggest bolt cutters I've ever seen in my life. What would you use something like that for?
You know, we have an Knox box system where we typically have keys to most of the buildings in town, but there's situations where chains or certain locks that we don't have keys to, we can use the fireman's key.
The fireman's key?
Yeah, that'll open up pretty much any lock. And yeah, it's huge, it's heavy, and but it does a good job. It's not used all the time, but there's just certain times where the guys have to use it.
And you've got various tools here too. You've got axes with points on one end and the axe on the other, and all kinds of different tools. You've got one here that cuts the ceiling open, and you can pull it down and get up in there. And it's really amazing the kind of stuff you guys have. Who determines what kind of tools need to be pulled out? And is it a communication between you guys when you're out there? Like, okay, I need such and such, and how does that work?
Well, it's a great question, because Steve elaborated on it earlier about the scene size up. So the company officer is going to give a scene size up, what he's seeing, what size building, what's going on with the building, and then he's going to direct his crew what kind of attack they're going to do, a defensive attack where they're all exterior, or offensive attack. Could be a little bit of both, but they're going to go inside, they're going to try and locate the fire, they're going to use all their tools and resources. Communication is huge. Accountability, if you look under my helmet, there's a little par board. You have to know who's in the building. On the back side, there's a little tab that has like my last name under the bottom. And
oh, I see, okay.
There's a personal accountability chart that they have, so we can know who's in the building, who's where, certain assignments. But the thermal imaging camera is going to locate the seat of the fire or victims, and the officer's going to direct his firefighters on what actions to take.
This tool right here, I was going to get to next, this has been a big help to you guys. And I don't know how long you've been actually using the thermal imaging cameras. How long have they been around?
Oh, they've been around, I think, 10, 15, probably 15 years or more now.
But I remember when they came to us, it was a big deal, because it was going to be such a big help to be able to spot whether or not there is still fire in a structure.
Right, and it's also where the structure you can't see through the smoke, but maybe it's an attic fire and you can't see through the ceiling. This will locate that for you.
Now, what if I'm in a house and I've collapsed and I'm laying there in my bedroom, say, seems like that's where a lot of the fires happen. Will you be able to see me with that? Or do you still have to go in and kind of just, you know, hope for the best?
No, this will pick you up. This will be able to find you, and the guys are going to be, they're going to do their primary search, and then they're going to do a secondary search, so they're going to try and look for victims. The screen has like about a 3 to 4 inch screen in the back, and you turn that on, and that's going to, it's almost like you see on the TV news when they're looking for somebody escaped at night, and the helicopter's flying over, and you see their heat signature. It's like a FLIR. forward-looking infrared, and it's that same type of looking signature. If you turn it on with the red button, press and hold it down, and if you shot it here at your studio lights, you'd be able to see the different heat signatures that produces.
Very interesting. It looks like one of those giant flashlights. I was telling you before the show that, you know, when you're down by the lake and people go by on their boat and they're looking for camp, do you yell it to turn it off?
Yeah. Oh, it's red. Just hold it.
Just hold it. Okay. And it's shaped just like that, one of those great big giant flashlights.
It's a little heavy. You know, the guys who has the carabiner, they hook it to their coat. You know, you don't want to drop that in the fire. You know, you want to keep your radio and all your tools handy, and usually the officer will have that.
When you start to train, and maybe we should start with this. If I wanted to become a firefighter, how would I even begin to get started on something like that?
Well, Steve was an instructor at the academy, so go ahead, Steve.
Locally, at Yavapai County College, they offer a Fire 1 and 2 certification. A few years ago, it became what we call IFSAC, so it's recognized internationally, which is a really great thing. Very good academy. It's a college semester, and you meet 3 days a week, all day Saturday, and you study and you train on the fire ground. We teach everything from safety, various apparatus, various ways to attack a fire. They do live burns there. We have a fire training center. And basically, then there's a test at the end of the semester. It's a recognized test through the state and, like I said, the international. And once you become certified with your Fire 1 and 2, then there's also an EMT class that you need to have to be hireable, basically, in the state.
Gotcha.
Most fire departments want, at the minimum, Fire 1 and 2 certification and an EMT certification.
A lot of the calls you guys go to are EMTs, because I call the fire departments every day, and it's like, well, we had a bunch of EMTs yesterday, which seems so weird that the fire department goes to all those, but
medical
you don't hear
calls.
Yeah, medical calls. You don't hear about the fires and the car accidents, things like that. So, okay, so that's not too tough. Let me ask you this question: how because you see it in Hollywood all the time, but how much time is it supposed to take you guys to put this gear on?
The standard is 90 seconds, but we try to shoot it in 60.
Okay, so 60 seconds you have to have what on and be ready to go. What has to be on?
Everything. Well, I mean, they're not going to stick the tank on. You know, a lot of the guys are going to stick it on as they're going to put the seatbelt on, have the seatbelt on, but they're going to have their gear on. As the truck, the engineer is driving to the scene, by the time they get to the scene, they should be ready to go.
So bell rings, out the door, in
Gear.
the stuff in 60 seconds.
In the truck, and you need to be seat belted. We go to the call, then our tanks on the back of the engine are in the seat actually. So you can hook on, and as soon as that engineer makes sure the vehicle is safe and he's parked or staged where they need to be, we can exit the vehicle with the tank then on and get ready to mask up and be out the door in 5
So the tanks
seconds.
are set up to where you just back into it, put your arms through the straps, snap it on, and then step off, and boom, you're ready to go?
Yep.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah,
didn't know
it's
that.
kind of neat. The way they design the trucks is pretty cool.
Yes.
I suppose this is all stuff we could learn, too, when you guys do your open houses down there. Just come by and
Yes.
get into that
Absolutely.
stuff.
We have an open house at Cottonwood every 2 years, but we're always open, and we welcome people to come and look at the fire station. And I know a lot of the other jurisdictions in northern Arizona are the same way.
Yeah, you guys are all awesome about
People
that.
should go visit their fire stations and learn fire safety. People are a key tool in helping us do our jobs as well when it comes to life safety and fires in their home.
Yeah. All right, let's take another break, all right? We're almost out of time already. All right, stick around. Countywide will be back in just a couple of minutes.
Ronnie had huge aspirations.
He knew he could get pills in the community.
He found his body in an apartment in Telford.
I never thought my son would take prescription drugs without a prescription.
Secure your medications and talk with your kids. Visit drugfree.org.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
I would steal pills from my friend's mom.
We talk about all the common drugs, but never prescription medication.
I was addicted to pills.
Had I more knowledge, I would have done things differently.
Secure your medications and talk with your kids. Visit drugfree.org.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a couple minutes left in the program. We just barely scratched the surface on what you guys brought with you here. But I think if folks tune in and actually looked at this, they would get an idea as to what you're walking around with and what you have to take into consideration when you respond to accidents and fires and stuff like that. Which, of course, would be nice if you didn't have to put in this stuff on and we were just super safe all the time.
Yep.
But that's not the case. It never will be the case. You said you want to talk about this fella right here, the power of the pen. We got a couple minutes left, Rick.
Well,
the power of the pen.
There's a lot of things going on, you know, like the burn restrictions going on. We have to work with the media and get that word out. This is a month earlier than normal. The U.S. Forest Service has a great campaign right now. One less spark, one less wildfire. It's vital this year that we try and control any wildland fires from happening, or any structure fires. It's really important that everybody pays strict attention to that. Also, with the building construction and some of the code compliances, fire sprinklers, those are vital to keeping people safe, property safe, and us safe as firefighters. Can't speak highly enough about the use of fire sprinklers in structures. And we just want to work with people, but we have to do our job and follow strict fire codes and enforce them.
I get a little worried right now because we did go into fire restrictions, but then last weekend we had a few spotty rain showers here and there. This weekend we got rain and snow in the forecast, actually, which was crazy.
Great.
But I feel, I guess I don't want the public to get a false sense that we're out of fire danger. I mean, when you drive around, it's still brown everywhere you look.
Yeah, and we're just getting into it. Like I said, it's a month early for the restrictions. Last year was May 22nd. We put the restrictions in place. The year before was May 15th. So it's just going to get worse. The high winds are coming. We always know May in this region is typically windy, and it's going to start drying things out even more. There's a lot of growth out there. We didn't have any rain, so we want to make sure we keep safe.
Well, Rick Contreras, great to have you in studio again.
Always great to see you.
Nice to see you again, Steve.
Nice to see you again, Brett.
That is today's Countywide. We will talk to you again next time.